The count. Man, you making it look crazy right now.
Man, jeez. Oh my God. 25 cents.
Don't worry, we got to pay the car.
Put a quarter in the
Accounting.
Small fine.
So yeah, it's that new. I mean, I've just been loving it too. We were just listening to them last night on 92.9. So shout out to everybody on there, and they're gonna be with us. They're gonna be an opener, and then Flowers and Kain's gonna get their thing on. You know what I mean? We're gonna do our nasty 2.5 hour, 3 hour thing where we bust out everything we got for everybody.
And he bringing all the snow bunnies out, all of them, all of them in the county.
We're hoping that everybody wakes up.
Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a special occasion. It's the Gemini birthday.
That's right.
Not many of those we got.
Oh man,
so check it out. So everybody got to call out their birthday that's a Gemini. So I'm June 1st. This is Bobby Flo, by the way, everybody. I'm June 1st.
This Kill Kain. I was May 23rd.
Jay Vizzle, I got, what was it, June 5th. That was my special day.
May 31st in the back.
Louis, May 31st.
Yes, right.
Yo, we got a sound guy that's going to be doing some good sound for us, James Tack. I believe he's either 29th or the 30th.
Jay Tack's on the
May 29th or May 30th. He's one of those.
Right.
Don't forget my boy Jermaine.
Oh yeah, our boy Jared's gonna
I want to
sit
say he's a
inside
week
the
after me.
keys. That's gonna be cool, man.
And then you got your boy Nasty Nate the Cancer of the crew. You know what I mean? Yes.
Coming up. So I just want to say something real quick, yo. We got a lot of shout outs to give today.
Yeah, get out the way. Let's do it. Let's do it,
man. First shout outs to Kirk for believing in us. You know what I mean? Like Kirk Burrowes and he's sitting right here next to us. We talking like he ain't here, but Kirk.
That was easy to do.
Kirk's been great and vocal, and he's been one of the greatest people that we've ever met in terms of our music career.
Great support.
I gotta give a big shout out to Dose and Smoke the World. Everybody in New London knows.
Going way back with our boys.
Right,
yes.
Way back. I mean, those were our first true friends that realized that we had something. Ed Briones, Ian Kelly, those were our first real friends that realized that we had something going on. So shout out to all them. Dose taught me how to write rhymes.
all the way back to 2000, and then we were gigging out in 2005 with some local town, man.
That's it. Dose and Smoke taught me how to write bars. Shout out to them.
Hey, and a big shout out for this record, this Butte record that we're going to be doing, the 2.0 record.
Yep.
This whole time, we owe it to a few good friends, which is Adam Demarest, Scott Crawford, and
Scotty.
Jim Lockett.
Yes, gotta give it up to those boys, man.
And a big thanks to the Hempsteads for letting them
Yes,
let us borrow them because it was quite the gig.
Yo, that whole
Shout out
section,
to
that whole
They
section
performed.
is
Yo, is anybody
amazing.
live? We gotta go live for everybody on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Why you pull that up?
Shout out to this
Hey, yo,
episode.
for those who may not know, Kirk Burrowes, he's a major figure. Y'all love the Bad Boy records. He was a major part of that. President of Bad Boy, and at the height, he's in the building and he's rocking with Flowers and Kain. What did you see in Flowers and Kain to make you want to rock with them? Huh?
The energy. First of all, hello to Connecticut, New London. Shout out to everyone. All right, and happy to be down with FNK. And when I came across them, it was through the regular way, Facebook, social media. But a great friend in New London said these guys tear it down everywhere they go. They had me look at the social media. I heard a song or two and we were vibing to it, and I said, okay, I'm in. But we were a little bit far, there's a distance between us from New York to New London.
Absolutely.
So we did a lot of phone talking and all of that, and then we pulled it together that way. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yo, let's talk about your upcoming project. We gonna by the way, I ain't mentioned that we're gonna play that album in its entirety.
Excellent.
On 929, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna punch in, punch out. So we know what I'm saying, we gonna keep them hostage for a little while, you know what I'm saying? They supposed to been on 929 a long time ago, you know what I mean? So we gonna have them here for a while.
Kirk was the first to hear the record.
Really? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Great record, great record. A lot of energy on it, a lot of changes, a lot of excitement. I think it's not genre specific. It can draw in a whole lot of people. If you like music, you're gonna find something that you like.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the project coming up. You know, what is it, 2.0? That's what it's called?
Oh,
Yeah,
so
2.0, yeah.
I just want you to know that Ryan affectionately named that 2.0.
Because we had like our first album, and this was the second one.
I feel like y'all doing it forever.
I was like 2.0. I don't know, man. I was trying to get cute with the words, but
I was feeling cute. That's 2.0.
Kind of like our own name, Flowers and Kain. Like we were kind of collaboration of a bunch of musicians before we became like what we are now. 15 years later or something like that. But we were working with boys from New London on the rock scene, and they put Flowers and Kain on a flyer, and we're like, yeah, I think that's us. So 2.0 also, sometimes it just lands. You're like, yeah, let's go with that. So it was like.
I gotta ask you guys this, cause like again, B-Flow, that's like my childhood friend. I knew him since second grade, and so back in like 03, 04, like I heard like he does music. I'm like, he rap? Like what? So, hey, and like the old New London friend of mine, hate, like, you expected to be whack. But I'm like, oh, you actually got some joints, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kept y'all, like, focused and, and keeping it steady all these years?
What it is there's a family here. Like, we don't even consider ourselves a band. Like, this is a brotherhood. Like, we love each other. When we're not practicing, we miss a week or two of practice, we're calling each other. We miss each other. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just music. Like, literally, sometimes we get up and we're like, leave all the instruments at home. We're just gonna get up and hang out. Just because we want to keep that organic feeling, you know what I mean? And you want to be real. And how can you be real with people that you ain't real with? You know what I mean? You gotta be real with your friends. Not just friends, but your brothers. You be real with the people that you real with the most. And so that's where we at all the time, you know what I mean? We actually genuinely love each other. And
there's a respect that goes deeper than family, because like the whole reason that Nate totally knew about this Flowers and Kain project was because he had the respect for Bobby. He was like, yo, I used to sing with every song. I knew Flowers and Kain record every time when it came out. He was like, because I knew that. So it was like, we respect each other like as musicians, like nonstop. Bobby can rap, but he can sing. The Killer writes the heck out of the guitar. Notice I ain't dropping a coin in there. Hey,
that was close. That wasn't bad.
And Nasty and I have become brothers, like rhythmic brothers. We've never played a day with each other until we started with this band, and it was just the most natural thing that ever happened.
My guy right there, Nasty Nate, man. Everybody know Nasty Nate.
So we
bringing the gospel chops.
We had this concept that we're like four legs of a table. It took all four of us. Everybody's doing their thing, and everybody in this band is super talented in their own right, but then also sharing an energy is like one big glowing ball in the middle that we contribute to. And that four legs of a table thing is kind of how we kept it together this whole time. And our relationship goes deeper than just like we hit each other up and play music. Like sometimes we're seriously like aggravated. Sometimes we're super joyful and elated. You know what I mean? But like we're not sensitive. We're like really our family. Like you get mad at your little sister, you still love her. You know what I mean? But we're like that. You know what I mean?
I'm about to ask.
As he looks square in my eyes.
I was gonna ask you about that. What you got to drink for? Yo, cause we actually all here 929. I want to ask about the squabbles. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all gonna be Dawn from the Invoke? Or big up Dawn? She from New London, by the way.
Dawn,
you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all be like, yo, F this, I'm going solo. You know
what? I'll tell you this. There's never been a day that we've ever thought about doing anything solo, because we all know that when we get into the room where we're figuring things out, that there's no magic like we have with each other. You know what I mean? Like when we really hit it hard. And big shout out again to Jaron Wilbur, because he came in and was just an amazing keys player. That
you got to see him tonight.
Yeah, he'll be here tonight too. Dropping some layers.
That kid came in like a genius. Josh came in like a genius. Nate came in like a genius. Let me tell you, me and Ryan have been cultivating these songs since we were 5 years old.
Man, listen.
And these guys came in.
I remember
still some of the best tracks.
I remember my first gig.
Dream work since we was 5.
I gotta say this. I remember my first gig with Flowers and Kain. We had like about a 3-hour gig, and it was at the beach for some type of benefit.
For Mike Bassetto, shout out to Mike Bassetto.
But the craziest thing about this 3-hour show is they only taught me 8 songs. Only 8 songs.
Okay. So we just played them again.
So we played the 8 songs, and I'm just like, you know what? Count it out. And I rock. Just count the song. Killer. Just count it. Give me the count. And there we go. And
so yo, we gonna get to y'all record. Y'all got a treat out here, 929 New London. We gonna premiere the Flowers and Kain album here. We gonna play a couple records. We gonna punch back in, talk a little more, and play a couple more records. We gonna get into the
New London, we love you.
I Need You Woman record. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get into that. And we'll be back, and we gonna talk about some groupie stories with Flowers and Kain. They bring them up. You know what I'm saying?
R&B flow, baby. I'm still kicking them dust. The next wave's coming out the gates. It's us. Ready?
Tomorrow, actually. We'll do it tomorrow. We're going to shout them out today, and then we're going to get them in the mode tomorrow. Right.
What up? New London, what's up? You getting the treat out here. We got Flowers and Kain, Kirk Burrowes. You know what I'm saying? Pick up my man Louis Rock in the background. You know what I'm saying?
So fire.
Hey, we got y'all first 3 joints. We gonna play the rest of the album. You know, we gonna go all through that. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the 3 joints y'all just gave us. Whatever, man. Talk about some of the inspirations and you know how it came about organically. You know what I'm saying?
So the last song that you heard was "Let Me Get It Right This Time." "Let Me Get It Right This Time" was written probably about, I don't even know, man. I can't even put years on these songs. They were written so long that sometimes they were written before they were ever put together.
Yeah,
you know, just like every great
before
artist.
even our first album. That was old.
Right.
You know, between me and you on acoustic guitar.
Right. And that song was just about me and Killer growing up. Like, young boy Bobby. I was fat, he was scrawny. Too cool.
Yo, Killer, where you clocking it at now?
Too cool. Right. But that's just some realness. Like, I just want y'all to know, like, that's how it really was. Like, 2 cool cats that got love from everybody. Like, it's all in there. Like, when you listen to the lyrics, like, I'm not talking about having 1 million chains or 500 guns and 500 clips running through New York. I'm talking about.
Real quick. And Killer's still whipping up on them bikes.
Okay.
And Burrowes still grabbing up on the mics, you know what I mean?
Before we start playing the records, I gave the world a teaser. We gonna talk about the groupie tales, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They are the Snow Bunny champs, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, wait. Okay, I will give everybody in the world the best story
Not just
ever.
Snow Bunnies.
One time, I will give you a gist of this, okay? And this is going to be all. All right. One night, shout out to my boy Josh Kaplan wherever he's at. He used to be a radio DJ too. But we was having a blast at Josh Kaplan's house one night, and I looked behind me and I could not see Nate. I looked to the left of me, I could not see Ryan. I looked to the right of me, I could not see Josh. That's because
Shakespeare. I looked to the left of me. I looked to the right.
Wait. But let me tell you something. When I finally got through the whole crowd of people, it was an amazing scene as to why they were not being able to be visible. So I really have to shout out to those people and shout out to every great night that we've had, and thank you everybody. You know who you are.
Say, hey Kirk. So yo, what's your vision for FNK right now? You know what I'm saying?
You know, I look at, Earl is back in the market, DMX. You know, he has that unique presence where he is a pop rock star as a hip hop artist. You understand? And if we can tap into the market that he claims easily with a hybrid of what he brings that rockers listen to, people of all music backdrops listen to Earl, and it's real, and these guys are real. I would like to tap into some of that. All right. In fact, even getting them connected to some of those people. I want to shout out Darren Dean and Joaquin Dean.
Big up.
Rough Riders and Recruit. And Brillo from here in Connecticut.
Okay.
He's PCT. And so we want to give him a big shout out. And those are all my bros, and I want to bring them into that family as well as a larger family that hopefully I'll get a chance to tell you more about.
Okay. So what's the situation? Are you managing, or is it a record label, or what's the situation with
I'm just their big brother, I think, in business. But really, we're in business, and what I like to do is to guide them along the way. Right. I have a lot of things that are available that I can offer them, almost like a menu, but they have everything set up themselves. They're their own label, they're their own managers, they're their own arrangers. Something interesting came up when we first got together. They thought that they might have needed an arranger, and I knew all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. And when I heard, I was like, no, they'll just mess up the rawness of what you guys have. Right. And we spent a few months deciding that, and it was a no-brainer. So I like the way they come up with their own thing. I bring in some business, right? I'm dropping a marketing plan on this project after we get off the radio. and we will be executing that and hopefully getting our streaming for dollars up and everything like that. Jump in the way we're supposed to.
We're talking Spotify, iTunes, everything.
All of that.
That's like
all of that.
Yeah, like
So ALLUM, all of them.
So I see business. I see business and I see money with it.
as like a like you're an independent music entity, and you know, how do you spend your energy so it does something works for you? You know what I mean? And that's what Kirk has helped us like really get our point it in the right direction, so you're not spinning your wheels on the wrong thing, and also focus, like, okay, great, we like practicing, but sometimes you got to put in some work that's like a little bit of business and organization and getting our paperwork straight up, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, and pushing us through that, because
and I hope
part that maybe isn't always as
listening.
fun until you realize what we accomplished. It's like, man, we got that now. It's awesome. Like,
takes a little bit of work.
I would like to protect their indie vibe and the thing that they're coming into the market with. Yeah. All right. That's what I would like to do.
We were trying to protect it too much. we would have two people on the shoulders, that like the angel and the devil. It would be like Flowers and Kain on one shoulder and then Kirk Burrowes on the other. And it'd be like, yo, so are you guys LLC? And we're like, what? He's like, you guys got everything copyrighted? And we're like, what's that? How's your webpage?
When he said Big Brother, I mean, he's so serious when he says Big Brother. It's like he damn near even protect us from himself. Like, he's like, yo, I want you guys to make sure you guys are protected, and I want you guys to make sure you guys are safe. And that's what we really appreciate.
How long's it been?
Oh, yeah.
4 years?
It's been a long time. I don't even get the time. It seems like
the time is like nothing, but at the same time, you look at it, it's loyalty. It's just
it don't feel like any time because we literally communicate every day.
So let me ask you this: prior to the Bad Boy era, where you were the president, and up until now, like how many acts did you actually deal with prior to rocking with FNK?
Well, you said prior to Bad Boy.
No, I mean in between. Like
in between. Well, you know what? I'm sort of like a go-to guy. Like if it's sort of like a plumber. If there's a leak, someone calls me. And I patch it. I like that. For the last few years, I've been that type of a person. I've been involved with certain records here and there. Like there was a little kiddie record, Chicken Noodle Soup. I was involved with that deal and putting that record together. I don't come in on the A&R side. Sometimes I come in on the business side or close the deal side. Sometimes people call me and say, hey, can you find my money from 10 years ago?
Oh, wow.
That's always good.
Hey, so what's the biggest venue you guys rock, man? I seen you guys at Mohegan Sun, but other than that, maybe it's something I'm not privy to.
MGM Springfield, baby.
MGM Springfield.
MGM Springfield
that was pretty big.
That was pretty sweet. We opened up for Dropkick.
But the first Wolf Den was pretty dope.
I have to say,
Wolf Den tenure was sick.
humongous thank you to Mohegan Sun for believing in us. In our early years, for 3 or 4 times, 3-4 times in a row, just us all alone.
That's a great look, man.
Yep, 3-hour show.
Rooftop, all types of
rooftop
stuff, you know what I
barbecue.
mean?
Like thank you so much, Mohegan Sun.
That was a very special time because like we really went in there like a job interview. We brought our this is our tour history. These are the gigs we played. This is like our little album, and he listened to it, and a gentleman that was working at the time, and he's like, I believe you could pull this off live, and actually give us like a real honest look at like, okay, I think you guys could pull this off here, and to have that experience and have them open their arms to us so we could really take it, that's the big, that's a big stage to get to, especially locally, and that was a huge deal for us,
It was dope, like, I don't got no talent, but like, yo, can I play the kazoo or something, Man, that ain't that pop, I want to do it.
We got a lot of people that ask if they can play the tambourine. Lots of
Yo, homie, somebody over there trying to
like, yo, what's the
Fallon, somebody trying to take that tambourine job, yo.
I want to put it on blast, okay. I'm put it on blast. He told me one day, he was like, yo, can I come through the station and play the tambourine? Like, so we're going to do a solo, you playing the tambourine?
Yo, y'all not going to be talking about my homegirl Fallon on the mic.
No, bring up Fallon, man. My homegirl.
While we're talking about homies, I really have to give a big shout out to Trinity Techniques.
Oh,
big up Trent.
You were just on last week.
I just saw
Cousin Nitty too, man. Cousin Nitty.
And matter of fact, another talented artist, man, right in the background, man. My boy Suave, man. Salute.
There's like a few classes, there's the senior class that was Dose, Driz, Dude, and all them dudes that were in John Doe. And that was the senior class for me, at least, of people that I was looking up to. Baddie, all them, like Splat, big shout out to all them. Like them dudes was amazing, yo. I'm talking like when I was a kid, I was asking Smoking them for their autograph because I knew they was gonna make it. Dose, all them.
They give it to you?
Yeah, of course they did.
I know they was just like, yo, nah, B.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you real quick. Like,
Smoke the World Beats is hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of New London love. And let me tell you, when they figured out that me, the next wave of people was like me, Trey, Dos, all them, like we was all coming up together, Suave, Louis Rock, and when they figured out that we was all really dope, they were like, okay, and they had our back. The whole town had our back. The whole time. We were all coming to each other because we all knew that we had strengths. Yep. You know, people figured out what we were working with. Let me tell you, the whole town came together. There's a lot of people I could shout out, but I have to give Trey, Dos, Smoke the World, who taught me damn near just about everything I know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Marcus Clack, who took me to my first record label, showed me how real it was, showed me what it could. Big shout out to Mark, like took me out there, showed me everything I possibly could ever learn. So really, like, thank you to everybody in New London.
New London, America. We about to get back to the Flowers and Kain album. Talk about the Part Naked record real quick before we get into it.
Party Naked. So one night, I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. One night,
Bobby wrote that on the fly.
We were out of songs.
We were out of songs completely.
Bobby wrote it on the fly.
We was out of songs.
At the Buckley House.
Someone kill it. Go ahead.
So, we had played our, we always got like 35, 32 songs on rotation that we like, and some of them go away, some of them stay. But, we were out of songs. And then,
I miss a lot of go away.
but it's still hot out there. Everybody's still in it. So we were like, man, well, we just do a couple chords out there, and then Flo just came up with that song, like right on the fly.
I remember what he said.
It took about 30 seconds, and that was a keeper forever now. And that's
Flo goes, you know what? I'm feeling that. And he goes, I'm feeling you guys' vibe. I'm going to write a song right here, right now for you guys, live.
Yeah. And that usually stresses me out. But it was sweet. You know what's awesome?
You right or you off top like big?
Off the top sometimes. Sometimes. Let me tell you, there's nothing like writing a whole entire song off the top of your head while you're thinking of it, and you can visualize every line coming up, but you have to write it down so you can remember.
And it's a testament to what Flo can do. Like literally spitting words out to see how people react while it's happening, and then trying to ramp it up a little bit.
Hey, you ever do vocals ever? Or you just strictly
a little backup once in a while?
Oh, wait a minute, yo, we might have to drop
that'll be average.
You gotta drop the killer freestyle.
You know what the coolest thing about this song is? My kids love this song, but we call it Party Crazy.
Yeah, we gotta
keep it the PG version.
Oh, okay.
We ain't gonna listen to TV version.
If you shout record, we gonna play 2 more after that. You get an exclusive on 929, the whole Flowers and Kain album.
What up, everybody?
It's
your boy Bobby. Your boy Killer Kain in the village. Good eye, Killer. And Nasty Nate.
Nasty Nate, Josh Bell. Yo, listen, this is the world premiere of Party Naked. Hope you enjoy it.
No, Snow Bunny's naked.
Remember Sean?
We are Bizak. Man. I Can't Fall in Love. Flowers and Kain, a new project 2.0. You know what I'm saying?
I hope everybody's feeling that summertime.
Yo, come on. I hope y'all feeling all this time.
Hey, yo, and off air, they said, I just signed a Flowers and Kain. I'm playing the kazoo, I'm playing the harmonica. You know what I'm saying?
He gonna do something.
I'm gonna clap like
hand percussion.
We're currently looking for a great skin flute player.
And she must be.
Hey, audition tonight at the social. Let's go down. Talk about the event real quick again.
Go ahead. So everybody.
Skin flute auditions.
All right.
She must be.
We're keeping it live tonight at 92.9, everybody.
It's afternoon. We didn't even like it.
So tonight.
Take a nap after this one.
So that's right. So tonight we're gonna be going down right there at the social bar and kitchen.
Yes.
Right there on Bank Street in New London. It's gonna be an amazing night tonight. We got.
Shout out to our boy Sean Murray. He's been booking for.
Sean.
Yo, what up, Sean?
Sean's been keeping it real in the London music scene for pretty much ever. So.
We missed the Whaleys.
Sean,
Yo,
929 need to be winning one of the Whaleys.
We are the Whaleys.
Let me do a little small rant. We get nominated for a Whaley, but then we lose to some obscure radio station that you can't get on the radio, you can't get on satellite, you can't get on the TuneIn net, our radio, and we lose to them.
Right.
We need to change that.
Yo, are they a radio station?
Huh?
They a radio station or a fan page?
Nah, the radio station, I don't know.
In terms of New London, 92.9 shouldn't be losing to anybody.
You heard?
We were just talking this morning.
Respect to the greats.
Yo, listen, hold up. Before y'all even say anything, first thing my man Kirk said to me when he got here, it was like, you know what? Y'all playing the right things on the radio. 929 is rocking out. Y'all playing all the right stuff. And yo, listen, all y'all other radio stations out there, I'm glad we don't got no commercials. I'm glad we get to rock. Y'all need to know what New London is about. New London, y'all know.
Y'all heard?
We rock.
Yo, one more tidbit about 929. So when we're upstairs practicing in Carl's studio, right?
Yeah.
I can get the frequency through my amp somehow. Like,
it's so
if I'm gonna play with the wall pedal, like that thing,
And it's come through?
like if I pitch it forward, like we'll like finish up a jam, like yeah. Then it's like I'll get like late night to like some like good Jay-Z or something. Like yes, it's like it's awesome.
Yo, come on me. We got alien technology. We
all frequencies. Your boy Mike mentioned something with all frequencies.
That's dope.
Don't you guys shit.
It's always good. Always good.
Let me tell you, I have to say, we are joking around, but big shout out to all the radio stations that helped us. 92.9,
Absolutely, everybody,
Q105, 107.7. We have the big shout out to all of them. 92.9 is our home station. Then we can't wait to get out to our regional station. Then we can't wait to get out to our state station. So we coming for you. Please call us.
Everybody, everybody.
Some of the tracks we just heard.
ALLUM.
What about some of the tracks we just heard?
Yeah.
We got to give a big shout out to Ricky Louise Miller.
Yeah,
Ricky.
Yo, she used to do the Wolf Den sections with us. That was a huge deal with that song. That was what sold us on Ricky was I Can't Fall in Love. She used to harmonize with Bobby in an instant effort without even trying. That girl would just get behind you and just be like, yo, I know how to harmonize with you. I'm just going to do your thing and you do your thing.
Shout out to Ricky. And I just want everybody to know, man, we probably gave about 1,000 shout outs. This is how many people. This is how many people it takes.
Y'all here as long as y'all want, man. Y'all want to stay to the social actual event. Y'all feel like you heard it, man. Y'all got the floor, man.
Yo, bro, listen, man. We need to do this more often. This is not going to be the first, second, last, or third time. We're going to come in, man.
Right, so, Kurt, you got a shout out to Sylvia's?
Oh, yes.
Yo, hold on.
That's where we meet in Harlem.
Stop. All right, I get that.
We meet in Harlem.
Well, Kurt. Now, I'm going to put in my own plug right now. Thank you for being here, right? But Sylvia, we understand you, Sylvia. Thank y'all out in New York. But every Thursday and Friday at the Church House, yes, Church House on 27 Black Horse Street.
Amen.
We be selling them dinners, my aunts, yo, we put it down, and y'all know how it is. If y'all know who it is and what it is, y'all know what it is. Thursdays and Fridays, go get that real food. That's soul food.
We got the siren in the background, make it sound even doper.
New York got soul. New York got their things. Sylvia's, New London, we got our Emily and Mama Richie. Hey.
But yo, like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, man, to have an interview with Kirk Burrowes. If you don't know who he is, president of the Golden Era Bad Boy. And I gotta ask you some questions about that, man. Like, how did Bad Boy form? Like, what was your role, for people who don't know? Tell them your whole role in the whole Bad Boy movement.
Well, I was working at a film company called Orion Pictures. Some people say Orion, but it's Orion Pictures, like the constellation. They've been out of business for years. When they were going out of business, I was an executive there, and I realized the writing was on the wall. And at a few screenings, we had some of the music industry people come through. And after one of the screenings, I gave away a Rolex. I forgot the film, but you wanted to hype the film up, get everybody excited about it, so we gave away a Rolex. And I happened to invite people from Uptown Records to that screening. So young Sean Combs came, and he was newly minted the VP and was responsible for Mary's new album and already laced the world with the Jodeci remixes and was well on his way to establishing what he was going to be.
Phenomenal.
And he saw the Rolex and he was like, yo, you got any more? And I was like, no.
You think he got mad Rolex on deck?
So I was already at Uptown a lot, visiting. And so he said, come by the office when you come up, the next day or whatever. And I went up the next day, had a pad and pen, and we started setting up Bad Boy. And it starts with the LLC.
Talk about the significance of the LLC for people who may not be privy to it.
If you're starting business, you're in business, then you need to be about business, be registered. The only way you get paid in your business name is to have a corporation, and you can choose from the choices on the menu, whether you want the S Corp, the LLC, or just a regular corporation. But you look into it, make it apply what you're doing and what you want to get out into the market, and get your business tight so you can get paid.
Now for all that,
Just
excuse me.
Man, my ass cap will get your ass cap.
Hold on. And for all y'all that use that information, you can send that to Nasty Nate's PayPal because
Cash App.
y'all know how it is. Game is sold, not told, and we gonna get some money over there. Just
But hey, all right, so Bad Boy started off with Craig Mack, Biggie, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Uptown era helped birth that. Let's talk about that whole transition from Uptown to Bad Boy.
Well, we had a few artists before Craig and Biggie. Actually, we had a front line of artists that were with us from the Uptown days because we were Bad Boy Productions and then Bad Boy Records on Uptown first. So I want to give a shout out to Total, who was always there from the very beginning.
Total had fire.
They were there from the very beginning. A shout out to Kathy Dukes, as well as to Dave Miranda, Kathy's son, who I'm connected with these extraordinary producers, Mike and Keys from LA.
Yeah.
They did the Victory Lap album for Nipsey Hussle. All right, they're within our family. Yep, they're within our family group. So David, Kathy's son, Kathy brought Total in. Kathy was great friends with Sean. Total was a part of the first lineup. We had Jesse West, legendary producer. He was our first artist with his partner and their group. Please forgive me. They helped us to do the song that actually presented Sean as an artist with Biggie. I think that was Dolly My Baby. With
Supercat.
that's my joint.
That's Jesse West and that's Sean and that's Biggie, and that was a part of our first lineup while we were still at Uptown. When we left Uptown, we had to reconfigure.
Hip hop classic, by the way.
We give this to y'all now.
My baby.
Do y'all hear
Yo, I thought that wasn't really Puff. I thought like he was Milli Vanilli in it. It ain't sound like Puff. He's like Puff Daddy. I thought he Milli Vanilli in it.
He actually was. I mean, I didn't know he was going to end up wanting to be an artist all the way through. But that was the first sign of it right then and there. So that Dolly My Baby, that beat that Jesse West did with the Herbie Hancock.
That's my joint. I still rock that to the day.
Come on, it's still classic. Still classic.
Come on.
So with that was our first crew. Then we had a misunderstanding that worked in our favor with Uptown, and we were able to be free, and we found ourselves at Alice.
Can I ask you about that? I mean,
Yes.
you don't gotta speak on it if you don't want to. It wasn't behind the whole. I've heard like stories on YouTube and stuff about that whole debacle with Puff throwing that vent and people being trampled and stuff like that.
No, a little bit. No. That was actually. That was when he and I, around the time that we first got into working along with each other, knowing each other, not working with each other exactly, but knowing each other around the time of CCNY. He's a young brother caught up in a world of issues, and hopefully people were trying to get around to make sure they were trying to save what looked like a very talented young executive that was on his way. So we actually started dealing and being friends around that time, but started working together after he saw the value of that Rolex. And Uptown, I think the thing with Uptown was more like a personal relationship. Andre Harrell is very much a big brother, father figure
Big shout
to Sean Combs. Big shout out to Andre, big shout out to the Uptown organization. No one wanted to leave Uptown. Uptown was so fly and so much fun. You didn't want to leave there.
Heavy D, all of them.
But we were asked to leave, but we were given a golden parachute. Sean was still allowed to produce Mary's My Life album, which is a great
Mary,
Classic.
you know.
Classic above
It's not a great like parting gift. And just so you know how cool Andre was as a businessman, he kept me on payroll up until we got our new situation with Clive Davis at Arista. And when we got to Arista, Biggie was an Uptown MCA artist. MCA is now Universal. Biggie was signed to them, but because of C. Dolores Tucker and the
stomping out, CDs,
and all of the bad
Gangster
lyrics,
raps
gangster rap. The higher ups at MCA already familiar with the CCNY and all of that stuff said we'll let it go, and we were able to buy Biggie out from MCA Universal.
I've heard the rumor. That's crazy. I've heard the rumor that.
So we almost wait. I just want to pause the whole world. So we almost never heard Biggie Smalls.
No, you would have heard him. We produced the album, but he would have been on MCA. He would have been another artist that we had done under the Uptown umbrella as a Bad Boy product. but we'd have moved on and went somewhere else.
I heard a rumor that
That's
like
crazy.
the dreams of R&B chick, whatever. Like he took a shot. He said something about Patti LaBelle, and that's why I heard he got dropped from Uptown. He was like,
No, none of that is true. What has happened since? What has happened since is that dreams of can't curse. There's money involved with that.
Yeah, you got
dreams of sex and an R&B chick. All right, is that song was so classic, so raw, and it was his tribute to all the women around the world. All right. And
Big shout out to
I've later since talked to Shaka Khan and hung out with her, and
Shaka Khan was bad back then.
Shaka.
and she like
She used to be
respects her position in herself.
I love
Yo, big up Shaka Khan.
So I don't think Patty is a down girl. I don't think she would have shied away from it. But I think what actually happened was that the thing with Universal was that the overall, it was the crucifix. It was from, what's the song? Give Me the Loop.
Oh yeah.
Give Me the Loop separated us from MCA. They wanted to take out snatching babies from crucifixes. They didn't like any of that.
And then he said like talking about like robbing pregnant women.
Excuse me, let me get it right.
Oh, my phone.
Snatching crucifixes from babies. That's what it was.
Right.
I had it backwards. It's been a while. But they did not like that content and Give Me the Loop. That shocked them.
Yeah.
And when we got to
Shocked the
Arista,
world.
when we got to Arista, that shocked Clive Davis too. He asked for a change, and I don't know if we made that change. And I don't know if he ever remembered if we made it or not. But he did ask for a change, and it might have been the crucifixes. But if you still see it in there or hear it in there, then that means we didn't make the change.
Because everybody in hip hop knows. Everybody knows. I wouldn't give a. It was a baby ring and a #1 mom pendant.
Like Shaquille.
That part just never plays. Big shout out to Kirk.
So when we got to Arista, it was a little bit looser. It was a
Gave
little
more
bit
freedom
looser.
and everything?
A lot more freedom.
Okay.
It was almost like they only listened out for certain things.
Okay, so like, what was like your exact role during that time period? Like, what were you doing?
I remember when we had to get the Bad Boy t-shirts, picking up the t-shirts, taking them to the printer, didn't have a car, carrying them on my back. I just remember doing everything from licking envelopes, stamps, and putting everything together, reading contracts, doing contracts. Step Up is getting Biggie's weed from Harlem, from
Branson?
from Branson. Shout out to Branson. Shout out to
Jack of all trades,
Branson.
man.
I was the everything guy, and I might have been the first intern.
That's amazing. All the way
Might have been all the way through. But shout out to that original team that eventually came along. All of them were great, wonderful. Shout out to Queen Mary J.
Oh, my baby. I love you, Mary.
The success that we were able to have with her project,
And she's still
as well as Jodeci's projects,
They got
actually
Jodeci.
gave birth to that Bad Boy
Hey,
movement.
let's talk about that. 'Cause I think Jodeci the best R&B group ever.
Yo, Jodeci's
You know what
dope.
I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yo, did you have to deal with like, it seemed like KC was the wild card of the group. Now you had to deal with that nonsense. What's going on with that?
Jodeci was on Uptown.
Okay.
My interaction was through Bad Boy Productions.
Okay.
So if you wanted to look at me and see how I figured out with the Jodeci, I was the one that went and collected the check for the remixes that we did. or looked at the contract for that. Sean was actually the brainchild in the studio, along with another producer that he had around that time with him, that they would get together and they would work all these different sounds out. Sean, with this hip-hop soul movement, that whole R&B, lyrics,
Fused with hip-hop.
fused with the
Yeah, it
hip-hop
wasn't
track,
like-
that came from the Rooftop era. Shout out to the DJ BCB.
Yeah, the Rooftop era.
Who
man,
actually created, from that era, you had vinyl with the acapella, drumapella, vocapella, and then you have, and then you flip it over, you take that acapella from Anita Baker, or let's say Stephanie Mills, Something in the Way You Make Me Feel. Then you'll put EPMD's New Generation Hip Hop beat underneath that, and then you had that Rooftop moment. And Sean,
Blends,
Teddy
yeah.
Riley,
Blends,
and
yeah.
all of them grew up in the Rooftop, and now you have hip hop soul. And when we started Bad Boy, one of the first people that we went to go have down with us, and you hear Biggie talk about him in the rhymes, is Brucey B. So he was very instrumental. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
remember, it wasn't also
You get it?
convenient like today. Like years ago, like Kirk was like the UPS of Bad Boy Records, you had to go like collect. It wasn't all electronic back then. Like you had to make face. You had to make face with people. And, like you had to do your thing, and like that is huge. Just like you have to make face, and you have to be yourself, and you have to be like, yes,
And you have to show up in the record stores. You have to
That's
see
it.
where your records were.
Yeah, you have to see where everything's
back
at.
in the day things.
It's like huge deal.
Back in the day things.
Huge deal.
Different era now. But let me ask you this: what was like your I made it moment? Like you cop like what was popping back in the 90s? A Hummer? I don't know. Like what was your like I made it?
What else? Flowers and Kain. I mean,
Oh, okay.
Flowers and Kain.
You see where he at? You see where he at?
Yeah, I made it. I'm at National now with Flowers and Kain. That's
Flowers and Kain.
We made it.
860 NLC.
Now, you know, that's an interesting question because, you know, I was like, I always took pride in being bad boy number 2. I was a very quiet person. Still am. There's not a lot of interviews
You're still
out
quiet.
there.
Now I was gonna ask you that. Why you don't do a lot
You're
of media
probably
too?
like the third interview I've ever done
Wow.
in the history of my whole business of doing
Yeah,
things.
that's right.
This is historic. Right. And I want to ask you that too. Like, why don't you do that?
Because in the era that I grew up in, for the work that we were doing for our position, we came in, we were the people that said, you work the product and your work is shown as a result of that product. And that's how people know your name and know who you are and find out who you are. I stepped out of that era smack dab into the change where you have to put who you are up front and then you deliver your content. And now that's the way we're living today. I'm grateful that I've been able to grow, stretch, and keep up with the game. Get it?
Yeah,
Age is timeless.
Because now everything is all streaming. It's not tangible. People hold it for a minute and they pay for it as many times as they want to see it.
So yeah, so I want to ask you, pertaining back to Flowers and Kain,
Yes.
you know, you was there in the 90s, you know, what would you have to do different from when you was trying to boost an artist from back then to dealing with Flowers and Kain now in the 2010, 2019, you know what I'm
Let
saying?
me tell you something, in the 90s, with the rep that was built up, with the way the culture of hip-hop was moving and it was building itself up to be the #1 genre during that time, all right? It wasn't as hard as it is now. You go in, people know your rep from your last record, they're like, you believe in this? Let me give you the check. That check they give you, you would put it up front, the chain, the car, the everything, the Polynesian, Philippine, mixed bras that you like, whichever way you want it to be. And when you do that, what will happen is that you put the front up, then you put the artist out, usually a male rap artist, and you follow with a queen if you're lucky enough to go 2 or 3 artists deep, and now you have your label and you're running.
Man. Hey,
It's not like that anymore.
I asked about.
We'd be a Billy if this was back
Hey,
in the day.
I asked Flower Kain about some groovy tales, man. Can you talk about some bad boy groovy tales? That's like phenomenal. That's like. Now you gotta do it. Yo, we're gonna get that record.
The world may never know.
Now we gonna get to the wait for the Grammy record. Let's talk about that real quick. We gonna play some more Flowers Kain record.
Yeah, there you
know what I'm saying?
Groovy Tales with Nasty Nick.
There's plenty of
12 p.m.
Talk about that record real quick.
12 p.m. You get some Groovy Tales with
So-
Nasty Nick.
Stop trying to back something through the radio right now, man.
Hold on, you put my battery on.
I'm on Tinder.
Who gave David that?
How y'all doing?
So I've been waiting for this moment. Came from when I was doing hip hop, and that was something that me and Trinity Techniques put together. Me and Killer Kain put together. We just started to make Josh Vera, everybody, Nate Scott, everybody.
Yeah.
Wait, actually,
Kain.
hold on,
Real quick.
Kain
So-
with Trinity.
So this album was, you know, originally Flowers and Kain. We worked with Ebro and Ian Kelly, and we had, you know, a couple, I'd say 2 mercenary rhythm sections while we were formulating what is now Flowers and Kain.
I'm a mercenary
Like the real-
kazoo player.
yeah. So like this album really represents Nate, Josh, and Brian and I working to like write. You know, Josh comes from like a metal background, a real technical, kick-ass guitar, you know, stuff, and us really. I'm sorry.
Somebody in the bag.
And I'm all that
So like, and Nate too. So like, when we came together as like we had these really good song ideas that seemed to work out there a lot, but they're kind of loose. And this is like this album represents our like technical songwriting, like make sure we're not missing any beats, like really hammer it in there hard, like as like and like beat for beat, we know what's going on. So, like, it's a bit aggressive, it's tight, and that's what we want to do this time. You know?
And I have to add that this is the first time that we got to shine on one album as a unit. Me, Nate, Josh, and Ryan all together. Four legs at the table. Got to show exactly what it was to be in the big room, or show exactly what it was to mean that Flowers and Kain was playing the show that night. I think this album really represents what that all means.
It was live at the power station, but it was also like the Wolf Den sessions. Like when we found out we were doing the Wolf Den sessions, it was like the biggest gig for Flowers and Kain because Ryan Kain has been pressing for the Wolf Den for ages, and once he landed the rhythm section, all of a sudden it happened. And it was because we started pushing them harder. We were like, yo, let's rehearse every week. Let's rehearse twice a week.
3-4 times a week.
Yeah, like, and we were just nailing it, like nonstop.
Hello,
Yeah.
Trinity Techniques.
Oh, Joseph! Oh my God! Shout out to Florida.
Divine.
Yeah, Divine. Absolutely, Divine made the Wolf Den happen.
Yo,
DJ Divine used to give me free at Ocean 88. And y'all talking about the snow. Y'all talking about the snow bunny guys. I was snow bunny guy for like a summer. You know what I'm saying? Just a summer though.
Big shout out to Figs too. Figs was big too back then too.
Big
shout out too. So
I don't know. Mike,
Yo, let's do this record real quick.
yeah,
Wait
let's
for
jump
the
into the record. We love y'all, man.
You can't get us spinning off.
Big shout out to G Pen too. That's my dog.
I love how we're losing with David.
Now I got two. So
Now
you got two.
All right, beware.
wait for this moment, Flowers and Kain.
Yes.
Tell people how they can listen to it and check it out, man.
Man, so everybody, we want you to know we're on all major platforms right now. We're on Tidal, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on everything. If you go out there and you Google search Flowers and Kain, it'll all pop up. You go on iTunes, any of it, it'll all pop up.
Just give us a few weeks on the new record.
Yeah. Oh, the new record's gonna be coming out. Big shout out to my man Swab. Thank you so much for the artwork and everything. We're gonna be trying to put that together, and that's gonna be on all major platforms within the next coming week too. Right now, the debut album is out there. This 2.0 live from the Power Station is a sophomore album, and that will be out on all major platforms. Like I said, the next coming.
Hey, yo, B-Flow, man. Let's talk about what you talking about off air, man. Yo, B-Flow said he's the illest guy out here. Bar for bar.
Yo.
Come see him.
Wait, hold on. Yo, time out. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wait, I'm so sorry. I just switched microphones. I'm sitting. Wait a minute. I just want you to know something. Listen. There's not enough mumbling in the world that you could do to beat me. There's not enough mumbling in the world that you can do to beat me. I swear to God, I love everybody. I love the producers. Please come see me, come check me, because I'm still killing.
How y'all want him to go? Acapella or with a drummer?
Listen, the vibe in the veins has never left. It's still there. Like I can't stop it. It's natural. It's what God gave me. Listen. I don't have them tracks there. I'm not off key. I'm off key and the beat off key and everything. Nah, we killing that real music. Like you said, you haven't heard us swear in none of my songs. You haven't heard me use the
Will Smith.
Hang out. We got everything by life. Hang out. We can show you everything by life.
Hang out bars too.
You haven't heard the N-word in 400 bars that you heard today, bro.
Keeping it clean and killing it.
Keeping it clean. Your kids can listen to it. It's real. It's everything from my heart. It's not the fake. Let me tell you, I'm from 1980s. You couldn't even tell no lies in your rhymes. You could throw them out.
Yo, he lives when he's speaking. I'm telling you, I can show you every day. Come on.
So shout out to everybody, man. Let's just keep it rolling.
Nah, B-Folk, I'm trying like, I want you to talk that talk, man. Let everybody know you a lyricist too.
Oh, man.
I mean, Flowers and Kain.
That's what made us fall in love with the Bobby. The Bobby was the lyricist, and then all of a sudden, like. He just
ain't gonna tell you how
he knew how to carry a tune.
I'm the opportunity to throw that cape on your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
When he
saying?
knew how to carry a tune, it was just like, oh, you're gonna be unstoppable at this point.
To the top, I've never been so dope. When you can look in and you see all your hopes and dreams, the things shimmer, huh? No worries, what's for dinner, huh? No worries, not a beginner, huh? I put myself in a position to eat the competition, only one clear winner, I just soak that in. What category could you even cloak that in? What? I'm free with the words. They used to have handcuffs on me, now I'm free as the birds. I'm not leaving this earth. Without putting a million people with their hands up first. It's so real. Every time I step towards them, like I'm just telling them how I feel.
Okay, what's up? You got
wait a minute.
I got
If you think my dog don't got bars after all this time, you're crazy.
Nah. I gotta go fresh on Flowers and Kain, son.
I rock diggy, rock
Riggy.
If I got 50,000, I'm getting that bag of sticky. Calling on my boys, you know they come quickly. Biggity bong hits and bomb bags. I'm wiggity wild, wiggity bliggity blonde chicks and brown ones wiggy. And shiggity shake and shimmy. The jiggity Jay-Z flowers and Kain Biggie. We makeity man kiss that shake up shizzy. Running circles around rappers until they dizzy. Pulling that rap shit like an F-350.
He's only 19.
Bliggity. Cops pull me over, they wanna give me a ticket. Rim spill spinning, my paint shiny as shizzy. Aviators on my eyes, it's all rizzy. My windows so tinted, they got to mess with me.
Time out. If you think my dog don't got bars after all this time, you're crazy.
Nate not just showing up the show.
Hey, Rescue Squad, I got
Listen, I'm gonna just tell you like this.
Don't do it, Nate.
Don't do it.
He said it without rapping for the cast.
You can see me after 2 a.m. You know, just hit me up on my Facebook, Instagram, or something.
Turn the mic off.
That's what they do. They turn the mic off.
Nate's single and ready to mingle.
I love.
Hey, I'm saying, I got questions, dog. Like, East First West era, that time when all that's going down. Can you document that a little bit?
The article right there. The cover.
East First West vibes.
Yeah.
That's what started it?
Well, no, not that article. That was the article. The cover, that picture from Vibe covered that exact story right
Okay,
there.
so fill us in, like, you know, be on the bad boy side during the height of that. You know what I mean? What was the, y'all feeling it? If you feel like you're talking
it's a little bit interesting because, you know, things play out on a lot of different levels. So you have people with their beefs and their feuds, and then you have people that are entourages and they just chime in, and you have other people and they're chiming in, and it becomes a thing bigger than what it might have should have been. And I think that if it had been contained, it might have been able to be worked out, but it got all those other handlers and their hands involved. So it extended. So you have people from the award show. Right? It might have
Source
been,
Awards.
It might have been pre-Source Awards. I remember us.
Yeah, what was your reaction to that shit going on stage?
Well,
and he stuttered when he tried. You could tell he like played out.
It happened a little bit before then.
Oh,
that
really?
was when it kind of like, it was the first like, you know, smack up. But a little bit before then, we were coming up, and you know, the West Coast was everything that they were ever since the late 80s. They had it held down during that time, and they really had the rap market in a hole. So they were the #1 label. We were trying to be something like that, and we were shooting out with great artists, but we wanted to get to that level that they had. They were a machine, well-oiled. What we wanted to do with some of our initial success, we wanted to do a double-page billboard ad with Death Row and Bad Boy coming. They rejected that idea. I think our feelings were a little bit hurt, and then we just kept coming in. Around the time of the Source Awards, we were building up our side. They were definitely who they were, and they saw us coming, and I think one of the things that they were able to point out, at least the executive would not be in the video, and they kind of tried to slime on us for that.
Did you see the Drink Champs interview with Diddy? He's talking about like, yo, he approached Suge at the tunnel and was like, yo, what's that, you know, Source thing about? He said he was talking about Jermaine Dupri. Like, you think like Diddy was capping, or like?
Well, you know, but I think it might have been an issue of whether it was either Jermaine or him, but everyone knew it was Diddy because we were coming with the records and the movement that was in everyone's ear at that time on the East, and there was no confusion about him being in those artists' videos and how we were breaking those artists. So I think if that conversation did happen, I don't think Diddy was tricked or fooled into not thinking that it was Jermaine Dupri. And I think it was pretty obvious that it was us and everything, especially by the time we got to the Tupac videos and we had Piggy and you know all the makeup things,
all the shots being fired.
It wasn't Jermaine Dupri, was it? All right, it was definitely Bad Boy.
Were you there during the quad shooting? Were you there?
I was not at the quad shooting.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that quad shooting I think was a misunderstanding that filtered down from different geographical areas. When you're on the West Coast, the gangs and the division markers are very clear. When you're on the East Coast, you have a big guy on this block, you have a big guy on that block, you have a big guy on every block.
Right.
All right. when I think when Tupac came to the East, I think there was a lot of thinking that Biggie might have had the whole city in a lock, and Biggie might have had all eyes out, and he might have mistakenly thought that Biggie might have known some of the bad things that had happened to him while he was here in the city. Very different from LA, where you could probably hear the rumble before it happens.
Yeah.
But in New York, something can happen out of the blue or from sharp left, and then you have to go figure out what happened. You get it?
Yeah.
And instead of wanting to figure it out later, it was almost like pointing fingers and like, you people have something to do with this.
Now, at the time, do you think like it was like
a rush of judgment?
Do you think like at the time, you think it was like a marketing ploy, or because like
no,
they say it's
wasn't
like
a marketing ploy.
They say like
Quad Studios,
Haitian Jack or you know what I'm saying what's my man name Jack, you know what I'm saying I said Haitian Jack already Jimmy Henchman and all that like they were saying like they try to extort Bad Boy. Was that the case back then?
Well,
my bad.
Yeah.
Like you say punk.
All right. Extort is a hard word. All right. Now, I've never gotten to the bottom of it. I have never been extorted. I don't think. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I do want to let you know that when people step to you in regards to certain situations, you step up or roll over. And as you can see, we were always in conflict, so we never rolled over.
Never rolled over.
We were always in conflict. Always. All right, so I try to think of it in a way like you always have people coming at you because you're moving towards number one, or you are number one, and everyone wants to have a part of that.
So my man Louis Rock got a question, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to know, was Biggie really looking on leaving Bad Boy towards the end of his career, like some people have said?
I don't think there was a thought of that in his mind. If it was, I can't speak of what was going on in his mind, but he seemed to have been happy and content. He was delivering the final, what was to be his final studio album that became a double album in the process. He was there doing what he do, record, get the tracks, do it right then and there, and think about it later if you need to edit it.
What were your thoughts about him being on the West Coast less than 6 months after Pac's death? Like, what was your thoughts then?
Well, 2020.
Yeah, 2020 hindsight. But like, what was your thought process back then, though?
Cautious and still caution on top of caution. But the idea that you're free to go and do what you need to do, and you need to go to take care of what you have to take care of, and all the award shows are on the West Coast, you couldn't avoid going to the West Coast unless you were going to say I'm rolling over and I'm not going. So you have to confront these issues and you had to go. So if you're going to the award show, you might as well go work with the LA producers, you might as well work with the LA talent, you might as well go do what you need to do, and that's the way we approached it.
Were you there? Were you in LA when all that was down?
We had the whole Bad Boy family and team out there, from interns to assistants and everyone.
So you was at the Peterson and all that?
I was not at that center. That very next morning, Biggie and I were supposed to be on an international flight going to Europe to handle the European press for the album. I had gotten word from Sean, he's not going to Europe, just forget about it. We're going to be partying tonight, and call those people at ours to let them know you're not coming. Actually, he said, you go. They don't want to see me, so let me try to figure out how we're going to work this out. So I was frustrated in LA at the Chateau Marmont, upset and angry in my room, and then later that night I got the telephone calls, and we all sprang into action. And my big thing was getting everyone's kids back east before there were other fatalities.
Before anything else happened.
And getting them back in all the ways that we knew that we had to. Everyone knew about LAX, so we had to figure out other alternative ways to get people home.
This is hip hop history.
That's hip hop, baby.
Burrowes, man.
It's hip hop, baby.
Bad Boy from the 90s, you heard? Okay, so what missteps do you think you guys taking at that point, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get back to more records, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, like I'm intrigued by this. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess with the Flower K vibe, man. But I got Kirk Burrowes here. I gotta ask my questions, then. I'll mess with the vibe, man. My bad.
When you're winning, there's always a touch of being too cavalier, and maybe we should have been more thoughtful with our prized possession in the middle of hell's fire. And when you think like 2020. you think back on it, it's an obvious thing not to do now.
Right.
But back then, we might have been a little bit cavalier, and that might have been our crime.
Okay, during the East versus West thing, let me ask you this. I'm sure there was some real conflict, but do you think it got heightened up just to kind of bring more propaganda, kind of like, make hype it up a little bit?
I think there's real conflict when you have two opposing factions, when you have two strong dudes or two strong people in whatever the scenario is.
Right.
And then when we draw that line, it's hard to get that line to disappear. You understand?
And then just to add in, just to help Kirk out just a minute, here we are all living it. I'm 9 and 10 and 11 years old when that's all going on.
No, we was like 13, man.
Was we? Yeah, no, I mean when they were getting big, we were 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, yeah,
and at that time we were 13, so the media, we all know, XXL, all the hip hop outlets.
And there was no internet then.
There was no internet then, right. This was all magazines, you was all, right.
And the music.
Yep.
This is all,
and the mixtapes as well as the street records.
Right.
They were communicating to each other in that way.
Right.
If it had been able to stay there like they're able to do today, keep beef on the records a little bit longer,
right,
and acting on it or responding to it, we might have had a different outcome. But it was very personal.
I think that was the first thing that we
People's feelings were hurt. And people were in their emotions.
I think that was the first celebrity death that we saw that the media had said later on that they really should have not have played it up that high because they played up to the to that.
Okay.
Yeah, build a monster.
So let me ask you this: the Who Shot You record, I know that was recorded with Keith Murray. You know what I'm saying? It was recorded on a Mary J record. And we can talk about your Mary J, relationship as well. After we play a Flowers and Kain record, 2.0. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, do you think the Who Shot You record kind of heightened things? Like, was it bad timing? I know it wasn't like.
No, I don't think it was bad timing.
Like
it was for what was done. It was perfectly timed because it was an answer to another record.
Answer to what record?
Oh
man.
It's all back and forth. It's all back and forth, So it was an exchange and an engagement. So we're thinking like, oh, this track is killer, and then now Biggie's gonna lay on it when he's gonna lay on it, and then of course Pac on their side they come back with something. He has his crew. He might have even had Jodeci backing on one of his records in the video or something like that, just to add more spice to the mix. All right. So there was a lot of things going on back then, and if it had been able to stay at the records, it would probably been best. But it got to be very personal with business people who were very emotional, and these artists were able to deal with that.
Okay, so during your tenure at Bad Boy as the president, during the height of it, did you experience some crazy stuff in the West Coast? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they say the Mark Anthony Bell, where like Suge and all of them kind of like ran up on him. Like, did you experience anything crazy from your end?
Well, the crazy part about me not experiencing anything crazy was because during that time, I was actually working with Dr. Dre.
Wow.
During the time that we had the East Coast, West Coast, I was actually dealing with him in regards to a few artists that we might have been pushing his way. There was something that we had done during that time, but it ended up me having like about 2 or 3 number ones with Dr. Dre. Right? And around that time.
That before Aftermath? Like in that transition?
Let me tell you. During the East Coast, West Coast beef, he was actually working on Snoop's debut album. And I was in the studio with a writer by the name of Kwanzaa Gleaves from XXL magazine, maybe, or one of those competing magazines doing the rap pages, or one of them during the time. And he was doing an article on the making of Snoop's album, and I went along, and here I am from Bad Boy, in Dre's studio session with Snoop, being handed a blunt from Snoop.
Is this smoke like it live up to like the reputation they got? Like, is it always great?
Yeah, definitely. Before pharmacy, before prescription, it definitely lived up to it.
And as long as we're gonna be talking stories like that, man, big shout out to Tommy Hilfiger's son too, Rich Hilfiger.
Oh my God, Rich Hill.
Rich, I miss you.
Tell me about that. I don't know nothing about it. I remember like Tommy Hilfiger was popping in the 90s. Man, and I think Tommy Hilfiger said he don't want black people winning these
Let me tell you, whatever Snoop got, Rich got.
Hey, yo, listen, I told him straight up.
Whatever Snoop got, Rich got.
We were driving down to New York, and Rich is too much to practice. I'm like, well, I mean, it's your gig. I don't know.
It's like, yo, Mike.
We were flying out there nonstop.
I told him, yo, straight up, yo.
But man, let me tell you, to anybody,
cut Nate Mike off.
Yo,
But to anybody who's listening, though, that's real hip hop. That's real hip hop history, right?
I got more questions. We gonna get to a record. We gonna talk about
it.
Lose Your Mind. Like yo, we down to the final 3. You know? Oh no, excuse me, final 2.
Final 2.
Man, I don't know, man.
I hope you've been feeling it. I hope you've been feeling it in London County.
I'm feeling it.
I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? Kidnap these guys' paws. You know what I mean? So they gotta go. It's like yo, Mike, shut up. We gonna get into Lose Your Mind. Flowers and Kain. They're out at the Social tonight.
Lose Your Mind's my jam.
Believe it, you heard?
I love Lose Your Mind.
I like that song.
About the Nas and Biggie beef.
Lose Your Mind.
Oh,
Echo, man. DJ Clue.
That was actually a good echo. Lose Your Mind.
Lose Your Mind, DJ. I'm about to say DJ Khaled, DJ Clue. Flowers and Kain, Kirk Burrowes in the building.
Boom, everybody.
Talk about the Lose Your Mind record real quick. And then I'm gonna go back into grilling Kirk about the Bad Boy.
So Lose Your Mind actually,
sorry.
Lose Your Mind actually, this is one of the greatest songs that we wrote all together as a Four Legs at the Table. Josh Vera came in and he came from a really rock background, and me and Ryan were more like a hippie, laid back, like hip hop background. You know what I mean? And Nate, of course, from the church
Ryan
background.
is all the way Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, right. Ryan's Led Zeppelin. I'm Biggie. You know what I mean? Josh is more like metal, and Nate came from gospel. You know what I mean?
Nate came
Yo, Nate, you with Kirk
Nate
Franklin
also rocks the hell out.
Honestly, I grew up on very
Like gospel trap the other day. I was like,
I grew up on very traditional gospel, man. Like my dad and mom, they didn't play all that contemporary gospel in the house. I grew up like Mississippi man.
So like after him, like
Your mom and dad didn't play at all, B.
And you know this.
So yo, let's talk about all your music origins real quick. Let's go back to Flowers and Kain for a minute. Let's talk about all your music origins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
put me
me and Flo were best friends when we were 5 years old, living on Bellevue Place in New London.
I never seen you. I knew Bobby Flo from like second grade, man.
Yo, Killer
All the school.
Killer went to St. Joe's.
I was kind of school forever, but did a good job on me right now.
I'm just saying. I don't know that you guys like with them creepy ass dudes. Me Too moment. Is your chick right there?
It was cool. Anyway,
No, we went to Catholic school. Catholic school was cool.
yeah, man. we got down.
We went when it was cool. When it was real cool.
So me and Flo, we were friends when we were 5 years old, and then 10 years old, I started taking guitar lessons, and Flo was in school band playing brass. And so like we were like, you know, I was really into Zeppelin, so and also this guy's ear is like ridiculous. Like he could just like figure out he was like on a keyboard, just figure out the melody to Led Zeppelin songs while I'm like trying to learn how to play them. And we were doing that when we were 10 years old. And then, you know, we kept that up, and then like you know, in school we kind of had made our, like, in 15 we wrote Gypsy Eyes, and we were playing it for our buddies like at parties.
Yo, can you explain Gypsy Eyes? Like I seen that like on Mad what's your Sade Records? Like what does that mean?
Yeah, Gypsy
I
Eyes
think
is
in this particular case, just like
pretty eyes.
pretty eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just having.
That's it.
It sounds like a Sade record.
Wait, it's the way that rock. Okay, so I will tell you how that all came about. So me and Ryan were huge Jimi Hendrix fans too. JimiHendrix, we was huge Led Zeppelin fans.
Yeah.
We was huge everybody.
Hey, yo, they got
we
mad
were-
white
yeah.
money.
Yeah, so we were me and Flo were like in the process of mixing together Al Green and Led Zeppelin
I'm gonna say
and
Snoopy.
Jay-Z and Jimi Hendrix and smashing together old rock and 90s hip hop in a way. That's what we were trying to do.
And that's what we're hearing.
That's it. Yeah,
That's what we're hearing.
yeah,
We're
that's
hearing
like
those influences.
yeah, and then you know when we met Josh and Nate, then like we added like this rock element, and Nate's bringing that hard gospel backbeat. We're like, I know, so it kept getting stretched and pushed, you know, and but like that's what RUSSO was, like a Zeppelin, Jay-Z kind of. That's what we liked when we were kids, you know.
Zeppelin,
And we were
Jay-Z
like,
with the
and we were
church.
just trying to cover that.
Let me tell you, me and
little
Ryan,
babies.
me and Ryan, when we were just a decade old, we're trading back CDs to each other. He would give me like what was the Sticks? He'd give me Sticks, and I'd give him like
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith or something like that. And then I'd give him like something like
Biz Marquee.
you know, third base or something like that. We was going back. We were from the '80s, so we was giving each other crazy records. I remember going in one time and giving him I Like Big Butts, I Cannot Lie. Sir Mix-a-Lot was out, right? So we jamming to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
So Mix-a-Lot, what up? Where you at now?
Right, and then, but in the same respect, what was the other Dire Dire Straits. Then we was listening to Dire. We were listening to Dire Straits and Sir Mix-a-Lot at the same time.
Yeah.
So we was listening.
Yo, you gotta respect them. They listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot album cuts. Nobody does that.
Right. we were 7. we were in 3rd grade. Okay. Just a hood disclaimer. I still got my card. All right. So anyway, it's like So but you know what I mean. But we was also listening to NWA. We was also listening to everything that was coming out. We were also listening to Midnight Marauders. We was also listening to But Midnight Marauders was the first album. Like I gave that to Ryan. Ryan gave me another album. We were and then it started getting different. Then hip hop started getting into the locks. Then it started getting into Jay-Z. Then it started getting
Love the locks.
Right. So, yo, you gotta talk about the locks. What's your relationship with the locks, man?
Oh, the coolest bros you'd ever want to have. I'm so proud of Styles with the.
Shout out.
He drop an album every 6 months.
Remember Styles with his business acumen with the juice. All right, the juice bar.
Oh yeah,
and then Chic Luke, I'm proud of him because he seemed like he was the sleeper, and now he comes out with a project whenever he wants to. And then of course, you know, Jada is the legend that we wanted him to be with that razor sharp sound and voice. They are the bros. They're cool as.
How'd that come about? Cause like again, like
Mary J.
D-Flow mentioned that you got a relationship with Mary J.
Yeah.
Can you like talk about that? And as far as Mary J. bringing in the locks.
Well, Mary J. actually delivered the locks to Sean. Actually, to Diddy, but we were all working around with her. But she knew of them and brought them down as we left the Uptown branch and decided to do the new thing with Arista. That was her like, hey, what about these guys? Check them out, and it became a match, and that's what it was. Mary, wow, amazing, just an amazing chick, an amazing woman, an amazing friend. And
shout out to Mary J.
Shout out to Mary J.
Shout out to Mary J. Blige.
Shout out to Mary Nas tour that's coming up.
What up, Bruce?
Hold on. Should I hear that right? Mary and Nas tour?
Mary and Nas are on a tour this summer.
You heard it on 929 first.
You heard it first.
Kirk, tell me again.
Mary and Nas. I think it's been on social media and the tickets are available and the poster in the campaign looks fantastic and you're probably going to hear Love Is All You Need with her and Nas for the first time.
Live your life.
Live, So it's going to be a great pairing with them. But going back in the day, Mary was just the queen that she is now. She was then, very sweet. She was very helpful to everyone, and she was always very giving, and she gave the locks their break and them to us, and it was a break for everyone in Yonkers. Yep. And those guys love her still.
What's your relationship with Mary to this day, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, we had a little bit of a bump in the road when she got married because
did she just like divorce that dude or whatever?
She just about a year or two ago, and even before then, I would show up at the shows and I would go backstage and see her, and there'd be a lot of love, and we'll never not be family. I'd go to her mom's house that a little bit further down in New Rochelle, and I mean, you know, dinner on the table, everything is a wonderful family thing. Her little brother is now in the management game with her. That's my little brother, Bruce.
Big up Brucey.
Right?
Bruce on our team, we love Bruce.
Yeah.
My boy.
In fact, Bruce, as a teenager, wrote Family Affair.
Oh wow!
All right, and one of the records that I did with her, one of the 2 or 3 number ones I have with Dr. Dre, is with her with that record.
What's your biggest record you've been involved with?
I don't know. I don't look at them and things like that. I do have some personal, heartfelt favorites, but they're always the sensitive ones.
Let's hold the phone.
I got a question for Kirk. What's your number one favorite record that you have this year? What's your favorite record?
This is gonna be hard for Kirk. When we met Kirk at Sylvia's in the Bronx.
In Harlem.
Yeah, in Harlem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in Harlem.
Yeah, in Harlem.
That guy had a jacket on because it was winter, and he had 2 iPods. Each full.
Who still got iPods to this day? Oh, you're talking about some
I got the touch. I have the touch now. They don't make iPods.
I cussed my bad.
Kirk has 1,200 songs on him, and he's just ready.
But just for the record,
What do you mean? I just love music.
But just for the record, I just want to hear what was one of your favorites. You don't have to say which was your favorite.
Let's get Flower King out there, cause like it sounds crazy. They putting pressure on you. Know what I'm talking about? On the Bad Boy era, Uptown era.
Mike, why you trying to mess us up?
No, I'm saying, y'all putting pressure
Bobby
on him.
Flow putting pressure on his boss.
Well, you know what? Since he did give it to the Bad Boy era, you know that'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Only because I was so proud when that Flavor in Your Ear came out.
Yeah. Hey yo, what y'all do wrong with Craig Mack? Yo,
I was like, when that hit, I
Let me
was
ask you
like,
this.
oh, we are going somewhere.
Let me ask you this. What do you think went wrong with Craig Mack? Cause Craig Mack, at the time of Pac passing, he was like about to perform at in Las Vegas when you know what I mean, Pac died. Like Craig Mack was about to be with Death Row, and he's a Bad Boy artist. So like, what's that?
With Craig, we know Craig was an artist signed to another label before we had him, so he had a history in the business. I think he was with Sleeping Bag Records.
Oh wow!
All right,
that's a dope name. Man.
Sleeping Bag is a very much indie hip hop label.
Yeah.
One of the pioneers.
Yeah.
Look them up. They have some 12-inch records and stuff. That Sleeping Bag, very much one of the
shout out to
indies that's
Sleeping
out there.
Bag, yo.
So Craig was signed to that,
12
and you
inches
heard his
vinyl for those
voice
who don't know.
from that stuff, and his voice was incredible. He was already self-producing himself, doing the things that he wanted to do, that type of stuff. When we brought him in, he was a little bit more like, you know, I'm here. Let's see what you guys can do.
He feeling too. He was feeling himself too
testing-
much.
Well, I don't want to say that he knew who he was, and he was testing us out. Because who are you guys? Y'all had these records. Y'all look like y'all about to make it and do it big. Is it going to work for me? All right. He had some experience at a label already.
I got a question for you. Cause I heard this, and you can dispel this rumor if it's wrong. I heard for the Warning record, Biggie had Craig Mack do the Puff vocals. Like he wanted Craig Mack to do it, but Craig Mack was like, I don't want nobody writing nothing for me on Warning. You know how they was going back and forth?
I might not know about whether Craig bounced off of that, but I do know that that record seems to me to be purely Diddy and Biggie, because they were in that mode of doing those records where they were both together and he was in that and hamming it up. I don't know if it was an instant Craig and Biggie thing. There is a little bit of a backstory with Craig and Biggie. When we first started, that Flavor in Your Ear was a monster record and shot out of the gate. But what most people don't know, we released 2 records at the same time, and the other was Juicy, and Juicy had a slow start.
B-side, unbelievable. That's when I became a big fan.
Juicy had such a slow start. We were nervous. A song back then took about 20-something weeks to become a single and raise up the charts.
20 weeks?
So let's say you released it in June or July, right? You worked that single till about late September, and Juicy wasn't getting the play that it should have. Flavor was smashing everything.
Before I heard Biggie.
And by September-ish, we were like, what are we gonna do? And Sean said, let's drop the Big Papa record. Big Papa record is what solidified Biggie as his own artist. But we did something interesting in the midsummer. We did the Flavor in Your Ear remix.
And you know what? That's when I became a Biggie fan, because I wasn't crazy about Juicy. I got my cousin. He did like 20 years, whatever. He stole Biggie's album. I can say it now. Statute of limitations is up. And he stole it. And I like Juicy. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 13 at the time. You know what I mean? I heard the B-side, Unbelievable. I was like, yikes. You know
That was Premiere, right? That was Premiere. That's classic hip-hop.
You know what's crazy? I remember that. The line that sticks out in my mind is don't be mad, UPS is hiring. Woo!
Oh, what did UPS after that?
Yeah, I would never bang with UPS after that. Never. Like, yo, Big messed up so many things for me, yo.
Good job.
Let me tell
I
you.
gotta ask you this, because
I always knew it was rap after that.
But Kirk, I gotta ask you this, man. I've watched the murder rap documentary. Do you watch like the documentaries that come out?
He's in them.
Try not to. I haven't really watched a lot of stuff on the era. I try to stay away from it. It's a family. It's a loss. You know what I mean? We've lost some really great people during that time, and we've lost more people than what you might know. We've lost some people that might have been on the periphery of things, but they were great people and friends too. West and East, there's a lot of fallen soldiers and a lot of lost lives.
Rest in peace to all them.
So it's a hard thing to get a grip on, and when I'm ever dealing with young artists, I try to keep them in a way that they don't fall into conflict that stops their livelihood or their lives.
See, yo, Flowers and Canes, man. Don't like y'all East Coast. Don't get no beef with somebody. The West Coast.
Be universal. Give universal love.
Right, we got nothing but love.
Yo, we gonna get you another record, man.
We got nothing but love for the whole world.
Cold Outside?
That's right.
That's what we playing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's do that.
Bobby, pay attention.
This is one of the best.
Yeah, this is actually my favorite song that we ever made.
Oh, what? Oh, you're gonna hear it tonight.
Yo, it's 929 WDUP. We got FK in the building. You just heard a record. We got, Bad Boy President Kirk Burrowes in the building. You know what I'm saying? It's a great day. I'm like kidnapping these guys. Like I'm just like stretching it out. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Stretching it way out.
I'm just saying. Hey, yo, tell them with it. Tell them with it. Yo, B-Flow, tell them where they need to be right now, man. I mean, tonight, excuse me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you a couple of things. First of all, everybody needs to go check us out on YouTube. Everybody needs to go check us out on iTunes. Everybody needs to go check us out on Spotify. All the stuff that we've been breaking our backs working on since the day.
Just put it in the search bar. Flowers and Kain. Kain.
And then tonight,
Kain got bars. Respect them.
Exactly, yo. And my boy Kirk got bars. Respect them bars. So listen, but tonight though, please, I want everybody to come down and come check out Josh Vera on the bass. I want you to come check out the masterfulness of his playing. I want you to come check out the masterfulness of Nate Scott. I want you
and Mike Mitchell on the kazoo.
I want you to come check out the 10,000 hours that Mike Mitchell put in on the kazoo.
I'm putting Maggie. It's like a breathalyzer.
Tonight.
He's coming ashy with chocolate.
This is what it's like to be with four brothers all the time. I want you to know. But no, for real. Tonight, everybody come down. The whole New London County. Everybody, please be down at the Social Bar and Kitchen on Bank Street, 9 p.m. tonight.
Don't miss any of it. Like
If you're a Gemini and it's your birthday, come to the social tonight.
It's gonna be.
Bob and Lou, and we're gonna really try to make a good night.
County opens for
My kazoo solo.
I think Mike is buying the county drinks tonight, right?
So
Nah. I ain't got it like that.
the drinks are on 92.9.
Hey, yo, I gotta say one thing about Nasty Nate. Pause. I'll feel comfortable calling another man nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when I'm saying, like, yo, Cassidy was in London one time, right? And I hit him with it. I was throwing bars, right? And then he was like, yo, you can hear Nate's voice like, yo, don't let him rap. Knock out his line. I said, she's pigeon toe with a camel toe. I bet when that camera rolls, she like an animal. And I was like, no, I ain't lying.
And that was his whole
And Cassie looked at me. He was like, yo, that's fire. And I feel myself. But then I do the playback and niggas like, yo, don't let Mike rap. I'm like,
Oh my God.
We know where it's going when Mike get on the mic, yo.
I got a bar. I go off of a bar too. That's it. I can't give you 16. I give you like 3.
Hey man, it's real.
He can give you 16 in like 3 hours.
Yeah, yo, I did 16 in a week. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's why you playing the kazoo tonight.
Huh? What? See me live at the social with Flowers and Kain playing the kazoo. You know what I'm saying? Woo!
Yo, Fallon, see, I said Timberlake job.
Hey, yo, talk about the project again real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
I'm going back at Kirk Burrowes. I got questions for him.
Yeah, so this is, we're finally getting out to shake this album out. You know, we've been working on it for like 7 years or something like that. Well, we're
been a while.
Act number 7.
Been a while.
But, you know, it's kind of embodying like us working with like our also favorite local heroes and musicians, and trying to show some love here in New London. This is where we're from.
Hey yo, chicks out there.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm so sorry.
I'm just saying, Kain look like Brett Favre. I just want to let you know.
Go on! If we're gonna go down the line, I
was saying, groupies. Brett Favre in the building.
If we're gonna go down the line of things that he is, wait. Tom Cruise, Wolverine, the guy from Christmas. What's the Christmas story?
What's his name? The guy from Almighty God.
What's the guy? Tom Cruise, Wolverine, Tom Brady, Cornelius. Yeah, right. Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius. It's a real killer. But I just want to say, there's a lot of people that are coming up right now in the New London game that we have to respect and show some love to. And I kind of wanted to write this down before we even got here, but I gotta give respect to Suave. I gotta give respect to Louis Rock. I gotta give respect to
yo, my boy Kid Cam, baby boy, I love you.
Cam, exactly. I gotta give respect to Trinity Techniques. I gotta give.
My godson, kid.
I gotta give. I gotta give respect to everybody that's coming out. The D2 album that's going on right now, man. Let me tell you, there's so many different people that are really, really good that I respect.
Hempsteady's all y'all.
Hempsteady, Young Vice City. What up, though? That's my dog. Young Vice City is incredible. Everybody needs to go check that dude. His new school game. That kid's new school game, Young Vice City, is incredible. That kid's new school game is crazy, and his songs are crazy. I don't care what anybody says. Suave, the kid's songs is crazy. Everybody, man.
Yo, let's talk about the Power of the King project, man. You gotta hype that up. You hyping Young Vice City up.
We give.
Hype that up.
We got 15 new tracks.
Right. That's how
we already got 2 albums we already wrote, so when we're finally dropping this one, we're just ready to get right back.
Yeah, we got another album ready to drop already.
I just want everybody to know that's how secure we are. People call us the Big Brother. Like, people call us Big Brother because they know that we have different things that are moving differently. But for our album, I'm gonna tell you everybody right now, if you're not out there supporting it or listening to it or feeling it, you have to be dead. The album is so ridiculous and so fire. You gotta be a corpse. You gotta be a corpse if you're not feeling it. Wait. Everybody like, wait.
Corpse stuff you
ain't everybody out there asking for real music. Every time that you hear a new track, they're like, dang, where's the real music at? I would support a real artist. Hold on.
It's there.
I would support a real artist. If there was one. I need real music in my life. Let me tell you something. If you haven't heard real music and you want real music in your life, go out and get a Flowers and Cain album. Go out and get a Flowers and Cain album.
Tonight. For the real
real music.
Come get it.
Right.
And they serve burgers there.
Social
and chicken fingers.
9 to 1. Social 9 to 1.
But if you was feeling any of the music that came out within the last 2 years, if you was feeling any of the music that came out in the last years, let me tell you, Flowers and Cain. I'm not here to start no beef, but I know Flowers and Cain is better than Bust Down Tatiana.
All that.
I know that I'm better. Wait, hold on, cuz.
Come on, I'm with you, cuz. I'm right here with you. I'm behind you, cuz. Go ahead.
I know I'm better.
They go ad-lib. Hey.
I know I'm better than some of the craziness that I be hearing on the hip hop albums. I know I'm crazy than some. Yo, big shout out to them because they doing it. But your boy, let me tell you something. Come on, you can understand.
Yo, when was enunciating?
Come on, yo.
When did not enunciating your words become cool?
We're talking about real rap compared to.
Y'all got to say consonants.
You're talking about 15 engineers.
Right.
15 engineers.
Right. We're
to
talking
produce
about
the same.
Yo, they got 15 engineers.
Musicians.
Name names. Who got 15
And
engineers?
auto-tune.
Right. We got
Mike Mitch.
Yep.
But we're talking just to keep it on something serious though. We're talking about the difference between music. We're talking about the difference between music that should be and music that's timeless.
And real music is available, and you need to know it's out there.
Hey, I gotta ask somebody who's stamped in the game. Kirk Burrowes, man. You gotta you see B-Flow over there hyping his album up, WWF style. Stone Cold style. I need you to do this for Flowers and Cain if you don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like hype him up a little bit.
316.
Well, listen. I don't know how to say it anymore. How many miles is New York from New London?
160.
200. That's only getting us to Bridgeport.
2 hours. What's 2 hours? 120.
120?
90.
Well, you know.
200.
A mile an hour. 120.
I like to be driven, but I drove myself.
That's right.
How many hours was it coming up?
It was enough.
And I'm here to back them and to support them because I'm excited to be down with a project with all the musicality in it, with a lead that has the tonality in his vocals that he has, and his delivery, all the instrumentalists and all that they bring. It's the perfect project for me to bring and add my marketing expertise to it. And I'm hoping that we're going to be streaming for dollars, we're going to be podcasting, and we're going to be YouTube channeling it so we can grab everybody.
And Snow Bunny.
And then We want to come in and make this the experience that it should be.
Caramel Sunday.
We want to make this the experience that it should be.
Yeah, here's my
We're going to build it up from the ground up.
I just want to exactly. And let me tell you something. I'm as dark can get.
Where my jacket?
Killer, and Ryan is Irish, and Nate's
I'm a light blue.
and Nate's African, and Josh is Irish. Listen. Let me tell you something. For all those people out there, we have right. So let me tell you something. We have
Irish Spring.
Yeah,
We got one for everybody.
we got something.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Don't get it in the eyes.
The band is multicultural.
Multicultural, something for everybody.
So you can,
Every multilingual with Brian and Ryan.
yeah, right. We use English and profanity.
We got it.
But let me tell you.
The biggest thing is, like I said, we've been working with Kirk for 4 years, it feels like, and it's honestly been like since the beginning. And the biggest part about Kirk is he's always been there every day, every night. This guy hits us up and says, good morning. He says, good afternoon. And he's just like, I just want to check in on you, brothers. And
Hey, yo, y'all be egging him sometimes? Like,
yeah, and he's hitting us, and it's just like, it'll just...
Only when I don't have minutes.
Yeah, sometimes it's like radio silence because we all be nervous. But when Kirk, I didn't even know Kirk had a driver's license. And this guy drove up here tonight. It's the first time in 4 years I figured out that
Hey, yo,
Kirk had a
it means a
driver's
lot for
license.
Kirk Burrowes to come through.
Yo,
Let me ask you this, Kirk. Like, yo, do you feel like you get to just do that you feel like you deserve, man?
No, you know, I'm a quiet fire. I'm in the back.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Could you speak up? I feel
You are not.
no. I feel like you trying to be like the Chinese dude from Neptunes, like Pharrell, and then the Chinese dude. Like you shouldn't be that.
Let me tell you what happened.
I'm just saying. Everybody know you got like a huge impact.
Shout out to Chad, you the dude, yo.
I'm probably quieter than him. He at least has pictures. Well, look, you know, but let's set the record straight. When I came in, our role, when you like that guy, like we started something in the early '90s, it evolved. The VPs and the CEOs became stars like their talent.
Right.
I was a little reluctant because I was from an era that your work spoke for itself.
You got last word.
So I was always just doing and making things happen. So I was very quiet with it. But the people in the know in the game, they know me and I know them.
Right.
Like, for example, you know, I want to give a shout out to some of the artists that, you know, I'm working along with.
That's all, Kirk.
As well as Flowers and Kain.
Amen.
I said the Mike and Keys, they're two super producers that did the Nipsey Hussle project. They're artists themselves now.
Amen.
They're being shopped at a few different distribution scenarios. I have Rob Barrio and HGM from East Haven to East Harlem. All right, they're up here and they stretch all the way down to Harlem.
You are
and I have
heavy.
Oh, well, we
East
got some
Avenue,
things,
East Harlem.
but I love independent things. I
Right.
love making things happen from the ground up. Bad Boy was an independent thing.
Yeah.
You get it? This is independent in the best sense of the word, with the best sense of the word, and the way things happen today. These guys wake up, they handle their own thing, they're their own company, their own artists, they're their own arrangers, own producers. I love things like this. It's a cottage industry where it takes care of itself. So when I call them and I say hello to them, I'm just checking in to see if everything's moving in the right direction. I'm quiet because I don't know, my ego is just low. But when I say, you know, I don't talk a lot about what I do. This is the third interview I've ever had. Not too many pictures, not a lot of...
It might be something when he carries
Not a lot of being in video.
Why is that? Why like do you
Kenobi.
like don't do interviews like that? Like what's the reason behind that? You know what I'm saying?
He came here to support us.
No, I appreciate that.
Back to
Nah.
this.
I don't know, but it's not because I haven't been asked. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been offered book deals, and I'm taking advantage of possibly one now. There's something coming out that you might tell me if this title is right. It's Latin. It's called Persona non grata. That's Latin for invisible, the invisible man, the quiet man, the person that wasn't there. So I think that particular book will set the record straight. It'll bring me out into the open. It'll allow me to tell some things that we know happened, that were fantastic, that happened for the culture, for the label.
Right.
for the fans. Now that I'm seeing, I'm getting feedback from you that I didn't get during that time. I was so in it at the time, I couldn't feel the feedback. Now I'm getting this feedback from you.
I'm
how
telling
instrumental it was.
You have a platform to actually kind of tell your story. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people.
Well, we got a lot of good stories to tell. Here's one. Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Biggie's first royalty check. He came in dressed in the nines. He might have had a fur on. He might have had his entourage with him. He pulled out the guns and demanded his check.
Pull out a gun.
Pulled out the guns and demanded.
What? Ain't nothing like the movies. Ain't nothing like the movies.
It was like, that y'all made some movie talk, man. That's crazy. And y'all ain't messing around.
And it was fun, and it was Biggie, and it was, you know.
Nah, it's not fun. We got guns put on you. So he was being cool. It's all good now.
No. But he came in. First royalty check. We were, you know, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
He's pumped.
He's pumped.
And here comes the guns. Give me that.
I'm a bad man. You're like, hey, Big, here it is, bro. Chill out.
Alright, you got.
He made things fun for everybody. You working with him, he made it fun for you.
Did you have a role in the Notorious movie at all?
No. By that time, I was on the outs because I'd had a falling out with the Bad Boy brand. I had a falling out with the Bad Boy brand because it was right after we had lost Biggie and we were going through some of the changes. There was a lot of conflict that was going on, and there's some things that had happened, but I won't get into all of them because for the sanctity of new relationships, I ran into Sean about a month or two ago in LA, and we had a nice family conversation.
What's your relationship with him now? Yeah, I mean, I went through y'all up and down.
Well, it was down mostly for 20 years. Just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
So with that, I was at a party for a famous soul singer, Diana Ross, who's a legend in the business. She turned 75. We were at the party in LA. I happened to turn around and looked up in the VIP and I saw Miss Combs. I blew her a kiss. I knew she might not have knew that it was me.
Right.
But something triggered her because a security guard came and tapped me on the shoulder about 30 minutes later, asked me to come upstairs, and I went up and I saw her and Sean, and we had a family reunion right then and there at that party.
That's awesome.
So I don't know what's going to come of that, but it was a good way to resolve things and to put an end chapter on that long. Whatever you want to call it. But I was quiet because a lot of things had happened. There were lawsuits that didn't work. There was the federal government that came in over investigations into Biggie's death, Tupac's death, and I went down for a spell, and I had to fight my way back up and out and get back into the game. It's like starting all over again and building up your pieces, building up your friends, and there's some great executives out there that pick up the phone for me when I call, and I'm happy about that.
Okay, man.
So, yo, let me ask you about this, man. I seen you on one of those specials, and you say you wrote a letter to Pop. Talk about that real quick, if you don't mind. You know,
Pop was very instrumental to the early success at Bad Boy. From what I can see, is that he befriended us when we were a little label. He was an actor, a rapper. He was a world-renowned artist and star. All right. So here he comes. He has a fondness for Biggie. He wants to help him. He wants to do whatever he can to get the light onto him. And I mean, sitting there writing with him and doing all kinds of things. Pac was the master of the radio single. I Get Around, I think, is the blueprint for the hip-hop radio single. Right? I Get Around. All right? So if you look at I Get Around, you know, that was the way you had to figure out how to get a hardcore rap artist onto radio so that they can get an audience coming back to them in their project, and the fan base can hear all 14 offerings. So Pac was very instrumental in that. I remember we went to LA to do a big party at Princess Club Glam Slam, and we were introducing the Bad Boy thing over on the West Coast. Biggie stayed on his couch. He had a cookout for us every day, barbecuing steaks and everything. He's the perfect host. It was like LA was his city. I remember, and I'm the corny general manager, president guy. You know, like who wants to hang out with these guys, right? I remember going to party after party with him, and I can't even tell you all the places that we went. This is Tupac, which is why I went and did the documentary for him. That moment I was hanging in LA, we went from party to party, and the response that he got everywhere we stepped up into a hood party, it was just love, and everyone was coming over, hugs and kisses, love, handshakes. You didn't feel like there was an issue or a threat in the world. Went from one place to the other, and you got love everywhere we went.
So, in your opinion, where do you think things went wrong?
Kind of like Flowers and Kain in the running.
Oh my bad. Nah, like yo, I'm saying.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Keep going.
Nah, like yo, I already told you so. I was like, yo, man, I'm gonna ask y'all questions, but I got questions for you, man. I got questions. Keep it rolling. We're gonna on it. We ain't gonna pay our last record on.
Keep it rolling.
I think things went wrong when other people got into the mix. Powers that be, the business people, their issues, their differences, their beefs. And then, you know, if I have a champion on this corner and a champion in this corner,
they gotta fight.
I want the champions to fight because I want to be the winner. It has to be one number one. But then you might have two champions. Like in Gladiator, it was proven. They come up with another plan. In this case, that plan wasn't able to survive the forces that came into it.
It sucks because I heard a lot about Tupac was like he was that genuine dude that just got love everywhere he went.
Love
and
everywhere
a lot of the Tupac persona was actually just a persona that he put out in the public to let be had.
He wasn't always
deep down.
like,
deep down inside, he was just a real guy.
A human side to him.
Yeah.
So when he went away, what we tried to do was to clarify, hey, listen, you weren't behind those bad things that happened to you.
Right.
And my job with this letter that I wrote to him, and I want to give a shout out to Wendy Day and anyone in hip hop and music.
Right.
Look up Wendy Day. She's like just a saving grace. When you look her up, you'll know all the things that she's done. But she was going to visit Pac in jail at Clinton, and she hand-delivered the letter from me to him. And she also brought back the letter from him to us. And when she brought the letter back, it said West Side Up.
That was his only response? Like
No, it went into, you know, this, I don't like that this happened, I don't appreciate this, I don't appreciate that, I thought you were this, I thought y'all were that, I don't like how this went down, I don't know why this went down, and it was about a 2-page letter. But it started with West Side Up.
Man, so you already know he's right.
He already signed the show.
What was your initial reaction to all that? Like back then, take yourself back to
Well,
to
I gave the letter to Sean, he read it and said, we got to fix this. And then there was no way to fix it.
Man, 929 getting y'all some jewelry.
929 with the real today. We got 14 people in here silent than a mouse.
We listening like, yo, he's just like, oh yeah. We listening to an audio book right now.
We lived it. For anybody who was around during that time, this is what you lived.
Before we get into the last record, you know what I'm saying? I got another question though. How do you feel about the documentaries that came out, like the murder raps? Or, cause I interviewed Greg Kading from Murder Rap, and you know the Biggie and Tupac documentary that came out like 02. You know what I'm saying? Like during that whole period, like you know, what's your reaction and how you feel about certain things during that time period?
I think that the truth is out there in the middle of all of those things, and I think there's not one person that has grabbed it all and put it in one place for everyone to look at.
Yeah.
I have not watched a lot of those documentaries. I have not viewed a lot of the stuff on the history of Bad Boy, not even Sean's Bad Boy documentaries.
Right.
What I find in a lot of things that I might have been privy to or I might have been a part of, whenever I see anything about it, I'm like, oh, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, right. Cut it off. And it's not satisfying. So I try to avoid those things.
Okay.
You know, but I know that they're out there. And I know when I watch, sometimes I can tell certain things that are not true, certain things that are not true.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So my last question before we get into the next Flowers and Kain record, Gene Deal. He's
Gene Deal is for real. Gene Deal.
Now I'll ask you. He's Biggie. For those who may not know, before you go on, he was Puff's bodyguard.
Yes, he was.
And he's the one that told Puff run the next couple lights. And he's on YouTube right now, pointing out a lot about the Bad Boy era. What's your thoughts on that?
Gene has an excellent platform. Gene is the real deal. Gene was around. Gene was the what do they call it when you work another job? You call it midnight something. Whatever. He was a police officer, but he was moonlighting.
Yeah, he was a PO. He was moonlighting. Yeah,
he was moonlighting with us, and we were happy to have him because that meant he had a gun. And that could ward off other guns.
Look, somebody with a gun.
Nah, because you saying he was going to ride on the side of the car, and Puff told him to get in the car. So,
but put it this way: he was with us.
Yeah.
And I think that we might have been too cavalier by the time we got to LA to listen to all of the things that a security-minded, trained professional like Gene was there to offer.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want to point fingers.
No.
I just want to let you know that Gene's platform is amazing.
Big up Gene too.
I get a lot of feedback from it. He asked me to be on it a few times, and
are you reluctant on that? Oh,
well, respectfully to Gene, he's such a great friend. He understood that I would want to try to repair certain relationships, not ignite like fire onto them, because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, I got gray now, and I'm a little bit older now, a little bit quieter now than I've ever been, and I'd rather let it be easy now. Let sleeping dogs lie.
All right, no doubt, man.
All right, if we can.
Nah, that's the Kirk. Hey, thanks to Kirk, man. I got even more questions, but Flower Kain, the social, and like you're like, ask us a question. Nah. We gotta get nah, like no, we my people. Now I'm asking more questions. We gotta take record right now.
Show's canceled.
Cold Outside. Talk about the Cold Outside record real quick.
Yeah, so Cold Outside is something that me and Ryan and Nate and Josh really wrote to
Second
show.
wrote.
Yeah,
This is a 2-time.
Right. So me and Ryan wrote Cold Outside when we were probably about 16 or 17 years old, but we didn't really understand all the things that we had.
That was before his time a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then let me tell you, we curtailed it over the years and played it live over the years and changed some lyrics. And Nate and Josh and Ryan and I really made it what it is today. But yeah, that song is about as old. That song is way older than my kids.
Original.
And you gotta listen to him. He said curtail. Big word. Pause.
Went to school, son.
That's funny words. We gonna get to it right now. Cold Outside, Flowers and Kain.
Shout out to the Saints.